doesn't, you know, not the end of the world. But it really did look like Griffin were testing their limits. It was like watching a weightlifting competition. They just keep adding on more weight. They're like, yeah, you can have Cassio, Akali, Lucian. You can take whatever you want. We'll even play Sion and Aatrox for you. And, yeah, their muscles just pop. So now Griffin back on the blue side, starting things off with a Thresh ban right against Joker. And now we'll see how SANDBOX want to respond. Braum now being banned away.
It's interesting that both these teams ban the same supports both times. Thresh and Braum are just not being played. And once again, same bans. Lissandra comes out. Camille comes out. Same stuff from the same teams. So interesting to see how the bans don't change. I know a lot of people are talking about Akali, how you have to take her away, how you have to ban her. But I feel like that onus is on SANDBOX on the red side. Otherwise, Chovy could just first pick it again.
Yep. Wow.
Ooh, okay.
It's really strange when you have Viper, Chovy on your team. Why are you banning Cassio on blue side? It really just makes no sense. Unless they're just never getting to play it in scrims and they don't want to try to play it or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Akali now banned away. Lucian is available. So is Urgot.
Yeah.
Sword probably saying, please just give me Urgot or something, please.
Yeah.
Viper, you don't need Lucian.
I need Urgot.
Oh, God.
Me.
I gotta take it. He needs a drink real quick. Hold on.
He's not ready for Summit in this game, as I suppose they just didn't want a handshake on taking Akali and giving Cassiopeia.
Yeah.
And, but I mean, as you say, they have a lot of strong players that could have just hopped on the Cass. Instead, they would rather take the first pick of the Lucian and take, you know, the other side of a Sion versus Urgot if it does go into that kind of matchup. As Aatrox once again will be picked up here, this time on the side of SANDBOX.
Yeah. And we'll have to see what they accompany that with. There's a few options if you want to go more scaling and mid-rangey and have oh, Urgot.
Oh, you thought it was going to be anything else?
I thought it would be Ezreal here. I think this is a fine timing to squeeze an Ezreal, but
I was looking for Heimerdinger. That was my
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
That was my pick. No, it's Urgot. He's back.
We'll have to see now what Griffin wants to do. And if you're Griffin right now, you don't need to gamble on a team composition similar to last game. You can just choose a superior scaling composition, have Tarzan on a much more relevant jungler than the Aatrox, try to take the game that way. And probably going to be Sion for Sword. I can never imagine actually wasting the Sion in mid lane on Chovy. And there's the Zoe, and that's the champion I was hoping to see last game. Not that the LeBlanc was actually an issue for why Griffin lost last game, but it is one of Chovy's main champions. And don't let that win rate at the bottom fool you. Don't let those has-been mids deceive you about how good this champion can be.
Chovy's played Zoe once, and he has a win on it, so that tells you a lot.
Chovy makes up 25% of Zoe's wins.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
And now Victor being locked in for SANDBOX, and the Victor is still flexible. It could definitely still be flexed with the Aatrox going into jungle, but not sure if OnFleek wants to try to go that route. Bans now coming in. Shen being banned away now.
They've had enough of that.
Yeah, they've certainly had enough. And with Lucian and Zoe, it's kind of hard to narrow down the jungler pool as it is. So probably just expect to see another support type ban. And if you end up doing that, SANDBOX can probably just blind their jungler and then go for a good support matchup, coupling it with the Victor. That would probably be the best route to take inside of the draft phase, because if you were to ban away a jungler here, and then you pick a support, you might just show your bottom lane face up, and the jungle already doesn't really matter. You go through your head for all the meta junglers and what really fits right now. There's nothing that dramatically complements either team composition that you're like, oh man, we have to get this, or wow, that archetype of a champion really fits well into this. And so It's really difficult to ban against, and so yeah, there you go. Another support ban by SANDBOX. It's like Griffin talking about something. They ban away the LeBlanc.
The what?
LeBlanc.
Oh, okay. Yeah, of course.
No, I know that she's called LeBlanc. So don't worry about that.
Okay,
Brendan. I
was getting scared.
Yeah.
As finally we get to see On Fleek onto something new. We saw 2 games Elise in a row, but this time around he will be hopping onto the Nocturne.
Sort of starting to remind me, I think it was Lyra about 2 years ago. It was 2.5 years ago. Only playing physical damage junglers. Never any mage junglers like Elise or Nidalee or anything like that. And now Tahm Kench being picked up, and I really like that pick. You have the Zoe, you have the Tahm Kench. You can recalibrate your draft against the SANDBOX draft that is balls to the wall. They have to just go in at you and try to dive. And when you pick the Nocturne like that, it's a very themed pick. Okay, Griffin, why'd you have to go and pick Olaf?
They wanted to build Redemption.
Alright, well, Olaf is picked up. There's definitely other champions that would exist right now outside of the Olaf, but nonetheless, at least he will be able to try to peel for the Zoe and the Lucian, and he will definitely be able to ignore any of the knockups from Aatrox or the Gravity Field from Victor. Just be able to run at him. Okay, I thought that was about to... Alright, there we go. Victor bottom lane with the Galio.
Victor, Galio, just normal bot lane duos in 2019.
Yeah. And Solution Tahm Kench for the Griffin bot lane. And we're going to talk about what both of the team compositions want to be doing in just a second here. But I am really excited to see the Zoe for Chovy. This is definitely a champion that you can't sleep on. No pun intended. But at any point in the game, if she hits a bubble past 25 minutes, you can die. It doesn't matter how fed you are. You're going to need a QSS or someone's going to need to body block for you. Zoe is scary in that regard.
She does have a lot of power in that way, but here are some of the compositions we're seeing.
And so Sion, Olaf, Zoe, Lucian, and Tahm Kench, they do have access to stopping split pushes later in the game. Zoe is the primary focus point of this team comp, where Olaf and Sion's main job in the late stages is just to peel for her and block as she open up the window to raising the turrets. On the flip side, Aatrox, Nocturne, Urgot, Victor, and Galio. This team spikes massively at 2 items. They're really strong at 1 item. They are monstrous at 2. After that, they all start tippering off. So SANDBOX has about a 25-minute clock to win this game.
Until they tip her off, isn't that right, Ellis?
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are getting ready to go into game number 3, Griffin versus SANDBOX. Will Griffin lose their first series, or will they go on to win it? Let's find out. There you go. SANDBOX, their cheers even getting really loud now as well, as we are totally packed out. We mentioned it before. Every single seat here is sat in. There's not an empty one, as all the tickets were sold. There are even people standing at the top to watch this game. They didn't even get a seat. They're just standing, and they're watching this one. And how could you miss it, especially after the last game? Historic in a way. Chovy going down from, I think it was 119, might have been 117 at his peak, down to around 59 KDA. Which somehow feels small now in comparison. And also, Griffin lose their first game of 2019.
59. Pathetic.
I get that in my sleep.
About that. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh.
Exactly.
Lehens and Viper, where are you going? They're just going to have to go down, but big knockups there on a Lehens. He wants to flash this wall. Will get it on in. Viper able to take the dash first. And I would say they lose the minimum from what looks like a really rough spot.
We traded an Ignite for a flash, and it's a Tahm Kench flash at that. So, definitely valuable, as normally his 1 flash can equal 2 if he ends up eating his teammate. So, now taking a quick peek at mid lane. Chovy shoving that Urgot in immediately.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you that Thomas Kenshin is in this game?
I am extremely happy. And Lehens, being an absolute Chad, knows to take the correct skin. The Kimchi Tom Kench skin has a weird animation, whereas this one has a visual, I believe, that you can actually do some cute things with it, with timings on his passive. The other skin is a little bit weird, so. Tom Kench enthusiasts.
Yeah. We got the expert here on the desk, now that Tom Kench has been picked.
Best skin is Coin Emperor, of course, though.
Yeah.
And so far up in top lane, that is the lane that we might have to focus on, as Summit is the person to watch this game if he can try to take over. And Chovy constantly just shoving Dove in. He does have teleport, whereas Chovy is running heal. And interestingly, I would say that On Fleek's getting the worse end of the stick with the openings. He is going for the full clear on Nocturne, but he's conceding both of the Scuttle Crabs, and now Tarzan utilizing the priority of both lanes to say, hold on, wait a second, do you not have mana? And he comes in here, he's messing with the blue, and On Fleek's just wasting all of his time here. Looks like Griffin actually going to be able to get this blue.
Yeah.
As On Fleek goes to meet Grom.
Yes.
That's
Is this
Bertha.
Agatha or Bertha?
Bertha.
Oh, okay.
God.
I'm sorry, I'm not very good with names.
A and B. Left is A, right is B.
Okay, yeah,
right?
that makes
there
sense.
There you go. Agatha's on the left-hand side.
Yeah. I would think you would have been clever and named the left side based on B for blue and then the right side on R for red. I guess that one kind of went over your head.
You just want to name change what you don't like, letter A.
Yeah, not a big fan.
All right, letters lives matter, okay, Brendan? All right, just want to let you know that.
Yeah. Well, On Fleek is a sad Nocturne as he doesn't have one of his buffs. Got 3 buffed and sits back and gets bullied by Olaf and the Tom Kench that went up to help him.
And look at the byproduct of this opening. Yes, his golems are going to come up around 420. He is pathing immediately to the wolves, and it's really interesting. He knows that these are here, and the way that he knows that is because he hit tab, he counted Olaf's CS. He's like, wait a minute, you can't be here at this timing if you did this route. And so he immediately passed over to the wolves. He knows that the rubber banded Gromp of Olaf is going to be coming up, actually, probably in about 10 seconds, I believe.
Right
yeah,
there.
It's right there. There it is. There's Agatha, right on time. He has the smite. She's never late. Uh-oh. Oh, no. If he gets the smite.
Oh.
Tarzan
went on to check the wolves. Oh, the smite.
Oh.
So close, but here's the Predator. On Fleek already uses that. There's no plant. There's no plant in time, and On Fleek, oh no. He does get the fear down. He's still running. There's the next axe.
Yep.
And the next one. And see you later. They'll hand that one over to the side of Chovy.
Agatha
as
gave
the
him
risk did not pay off.
Oh, well, speaking of on time, Tarzan was on time as well to pick up that kill.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, Summit.
I think one more auto and flash Q.
Yep. But it would come down to skill. Flash for flash, most likely. Summit would take a turret shot, but then Sword would immediately recall, and then Summit's on cooldown for his Q, so he can't push the wave as fast, and then Sword teleports back in. So, taking another quick look, On Fleek doesn't flash in time. Had he flashed over the wall immediately, I mean, it's still probably, no, you know what, there's actually no world. I'm not going to lie to you. There's no world he gets away. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. He can't get away there. Yeah. And I love that they gave it to Chovy.
Yeah, you know?
That's the best
He
usage
needs to build
of
up
the
his KDA.
Yep.
So now that he has 2 death skies, it doesn't add a 1 every time.
Yeah. Adds like a 0 point. I don't even know what
Is
number.
it 0.25 or 5?
I'm from NA. So.
Public school system failing us.
Don't ask me those questions. Ask me Tom
Someone can do the calculation and tweet at us. Someone from a different region, hopefully. Anyway.
All right.
It's
Thomas
probably
Kench.
0.5.
Oh, Thomas Kench has his flash again.
And you know what? Ghost is in a lot of trouble here. Oh! Oh, no.
Oh.
I think he could have stutter stepped that better to get the devour.
Yeah, definitely could have.
Oh. That probably would have been a kill. No flash on Ghost. He's Victor. He's squishy.
Definitely would have been a kill.
Close one. But at least he does get the flash, trades it with the Tom Kent, which is always nice. As, Summit, you're in a lot of trouble. Nice dodge there. He's forced to pull his ultimate out as well. He's just going to float underneath the turret and get away.
Oh, man. OnFleek does not have level 6, and now, with Chovy dishing out this damage and being in such close proximity, Dove is up a level, but doesn't really matter.
Red buff having trouble there.
Yeah, Red is not patient right now. That's going to reset. Yeah. Oh, they don't want to give this up. Sword has prio.
I think if Tarzan gets it too, he probably hits level 6.
Yeah. Based
on his experience bar right now. We haven't gotten a look at OnFleek's.
They're just going to give it up. They don't want to go for this kind of a coin flip. Oh, and so OnFleek ends up getting it. Still doesn't level up, though. He's not level 6.
Thomas getting on in there. But nothing happens. Yep, Tarzan returning to the top side as he's going to find a Nocturne. He's getting on in there and actually wants to go for the fight here. Won't be able to dodge that fear as Summit now. Well, you're not going to be able to. You're not tanky enough just yet, Sword.
So what's happening right here is, even if it doesn't seem like Tarzan's doing anything, he's delaying the recall of OnFleek, which prevents his ability to get level 6 and then try to affect bottom lane before they would want to recall. He's also simultaneously pranking Summit, standing for pressure gank, by making him potentially have to back up off the waves, miss XP, and he's really low without teleport. That's the main problem.
Yeah.
If he gets hit by undertows, his HP goes low enough, he can't stay in the lane against Sion, he can potentially miss hundreds of gold and XP, and it can really sway the way of the lane.
Yeah, it's very true. I was only chuckling because I love how you explain prank every single time.
We gotta get the lingo going.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta, teach people about the LS lingo.
Prank's pretty reasonable.
I mean, it is, right? You're not going for the kill. You're just going there to help out your laner with your pressure.
Yep.
Yeah. I like it.
Well, blue now being started by OnFleek. He does have level 6. I don't know if they'll actually give it to the Sion. He does have 3 corrupting potions. He's not even using any of them. It doesn't look like they will hand it over. Not the Sion, I'm sorry. The Urgot. Oh, they actually give it to Ghost.
Okay.
Yeah. That's actually good.
It's really a good idea.
Yep.
He's already low on mana, too, so it's going to be really helpful, but it allows him to just continue pushing back against that Lucian.
Yep. Ghost doesn't have teleport, so this does let him sustain in the lane quite a while longer. And right here, mid lane is just basically a handshake. Nice little poke coming out by Zoe, as she does know that she's about to get a new summoner, or item active, on that minion death. Oh, sword. Sword. Taking a really nice trade against Atrox.
Yep. Wow. Fantastic. Trying to force out that ult, but not going to come close. And you can see the difference in health now. Sion having a ball up in the top lane.
And he has those Ninja Tabby. He's going to get the Glacial Shroud soon. And this is the other problem that the SANDBOX gaming team composition is going to face in the mid game is, how do you answer Sion? 3 of your champions do no damage to him. Victor isn't going to have the HP or the AP necessary to damage him either. So he's just going to be a constant nuisance into your potential backline, or he's going to be an immovable wall that doesn't allow you to ever reach Zoe.
Yeah. Feels a lot different to game number 2, where from behind could barely do anything up against the Akali that was fed in the side lane. If things go well in the early game for Griffin, could see this Sion become an unkillable wall.
Well, looks like OnFleek wants to try to get something going. It's just so hard, it seems, for him to actually find an opening. And, jungling, a lot of people think of it as an isolated 1v1, but your laner sort of has stuff to do with it too. If a lane state is in an ungankable position, you just can't do anything. Doesn't matter who you are.
It's very true, and we had an interesting map play here where both Joker and Ghost were heading up. Now, Ghost was about to get his TP back, so in case a fight broke out around the Rift Herald, he would have been able to get back down to the bottom lane. And in fact, Viper not going to stick around to pick up the plate at the same time. So Victor goes back down, clears it up, and Rift Herald is started here by the side of Griffin.
Magnificent auto attacks by Thomas. Of course they take it off the screen. It's the best part. And now, I mean, Griffin almost at a 2,000 gold lead. Mountain Drake is up, and when you know that the enemy is actually doing Herald, why didn't Nocturne just path immediately into the Mountain Drake? I mean, look at the ward coverage that they have around it. And maybe you can think to yourself, okay, well, Thomas has the Abyssal Voyage. He can just come to the mountain. Well, Summit was under a lot of pressure anyway. Probably just wants to get out of that lane, giving him a reason to teleport when Scion is low on mana to a degree. Not that unreasonable, and Mountain Drake is something that you definitely do want to pick up. Now they're going to go for it, but you know what? Olaf's done with Herald. Thomas Kench is back here.
Yeah, they're making a case to try to come in here. Here comes the Predator on the side of Tarzan.
Yep.
Getting in range. And
thanks
now,
for the leash.
Yep. Oh, it is going to leash itself. And still pretty low on health, as Griffin say thank you. As you were mentioning, SANDBOX not willing to actually take any fights at this moment in time, and so they just give it away.
Yeah, it was a really nice leash by SANDBOX, and now they're falling behind in tempo, and now with no real objective on the right-hand side, but Herald also having been taken, the laning phase can just continue as is. There's no reason to rotate your bottom lane up to the top half of the map to be in close proximity to that Rift Herald. And then also, with a minute remaining on the plates, Griffin can still easily look to try to use the Herald somewhere, and maybe the location they would think to use it is down in bottom, but doesn't look likely as bottom lane is recalling. There were 5 very healthy plates.
Yeah, it's very
Nothing's
true.
Gonna be picked up.
Unfortunately, Sword did miss that cannon, but not the biggest steal. Makes it up to the top side, just doing Scion things. As once again, down in the bottom side, Abyssal Voyage, they make it back on time. Black Cleaver completed here for the Urgot. He's feeling pretty good on that first item that you were mentioning. Triple stopwatch as well on the side of SANDBOX. So look for that in the next fight. I say that, and then I look at the side of Griffin. They also have triple stopwatch.
And I just want to talk about something. We were talking about last game about Cassiopeia and LeBlanc, and I was mentioning how I had a tweet earlier that Riot Maple had responded to with the current state of the meta right now. Mid lane is this immovable wall right now. Urgot acts as this neutralizer, where you can't really kill him, he won't kill you, great. But last game, we got to see Cassiopeia versus LeBlanc. We got to see knife fights, where 2 champions have explosive amounts of damage. They both have to and want to fight each other. And it's a lot more exciting of a lane to watch, whereas, okay, I mean, Zoe's exciting.
Yep, Dove taking a ton of damage, but in comes the Nocturne, and it looks like, oh no, Chovy in a lot of trouble, is going to flash away, and there's Tom Kent to save his life over the wall. Meanwhile, Viper takes a 1v1. Dove getting extremely low. One more axe is going to do it. Just going to stomp him down with the reckless swing as they are trying to get that Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but it is going to be spell shielded. In comes the culling, and Joker, my good friend, you are going to be going down as Griffin able to stopwatch away from the damage. They're taking all the fights now.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about earlier. Griffin, they might not be the ones to instigate these long extended fights, but they'll certainly be the ones to end it sometimes. As it looks like Chovy was certainly going to die there, but then Thomas, he was quick to pick her up with that Devour, throw her safely over the edge. But Chovy knew, okay, I'm now safe. I can get back into this fight. I still have at least another bubble I can throw, try to add some more damage. He jumped right back in, and they found themselves the mid-tier 1 turret, and Summit having a bit hard of a, or, you know, having some trouble up in top lane this game.
Yeah, Tarzan's there, lands the undertow, and now Sword is going.
Whoa!
Bit of emoting. Okay, we're getting feisty in this game. Sword saying hello. I got wrecked in game 2, but I'm here in game 3, dominating your top lane.
Take another quick look at this replay. Ghost runs into a Lucian.
Oh, hello.
That is not double lift versus Victor, or versus Crown. But meanwhile, Chovy hit the bubble, followed up onto Dove, and then On Fleet came right in with the fear. It looked like certain death. Managed to pick up the red smite right there and get the damage reduction, and then Nocturne having to use that stopwatch as well, as Lahens was there to pick up Chovy, throw him into safety. Tarzan really angry at Urgot. And then Joker right there, he tried to get the E away, but Tarzan able to body block it, and then Viper with the culling, able to make Joker use the stopwatch, but stopwatch, bit of a useless. He was never going to live, so just wasted the item.
Yeah. Got to be careful about that, but perhaps a bit of desperation there. Wanted to survive, understandably, but did go down. And now everybody on the side of SANDBOX has a death except the Aatrox in the top side. We will have another Mountain Drake on the side of the Dragon, so it'll be interesting to see if Griffin can pick that up or if SANDBOX can deny it with the steal.
Second Mountain Drake of the game. We talk about how 1 is a really nice novelty. Definitely helps with the outer tier 1s if you get it early enough. Can definitely help for Baron potential. 2 is the real unique number where suddenly 2-man Barons are a real thing. Olaf and Lucian can 2-man the Baron now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That second Mountain is so important because it lets 2 members act as 4 as long as one's the tank or if both have insane damage output.
Tarzan checking with the scanner, saying hello, Dove. As everybody's posturing around this Drake, you'll notice that Sword doesn't have TP. He's forcing a fight with Summit, who does have TP. Nobody's making a big move towards the Drake just yet, because they're going to push out the bottom lanes first.
And right now,
nice
narrowly.
angle.
Oh, yep.
Dove now has to go north, but he's a tanky boy. He's quite thick.
Chovy.
Okay, looking for that one, but Tarzan might be in a little bit of trouble here. It does get gobbled up. And okay, Notfleek going on in with the hero's entrance. Not going to be able to lock anyone down. That was a scary moment.
Oh,
but here's
Summit.
Oh, this is a fantastic flank. Can he get that damage onto Lehens? The double kill.
No!
The double knockup as Chovy goes down once again. Lehens is going to get away, but he couldn't save his brother in Chovy as he does eat another death.
Oh, Chovy's KDA is dropping faster than Bitcoin, Brendan.
Oh, no.
I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's going to be a Mountain Drake going over to SANDBOX, and it's a really great setup by Summit, able to get that flank. And they're going to be able to reward themselves with a Mountain Drake. And that's a really, really clutch moment in the game. They really needed this. We take another look. You can see Chovy trying to go over the wall here to get a little bit more poke. Tarzan trying to force an issue. He didn't have to. Chaos Storm comes out over the edge. Hero's entrance. You can see Summit teleporting. And Sword wasn't able to stop this. He comes around. He gets the flank. And then Lehens doesn't have flash available. He can't just eat Chovy and try to flash him to safety. He gets gobbled up by the Urgot. And then SANDBOX able to convert that into a Mountain Drake. And that's a very much needed swing that SANDBOX needed in this game.
Yeah, you mentioned how there was no interrupt on the TP. I feel like if Sword was able to see him, he may have dove that turret and stopped the TP from happening, but Paranoia comes in, and unfortunately Sword not able to do much. We mentioned how he didn't have his TP anyway, and so that doesn't mean that Chovy goes down. It is just the 1 kill and the Drake, which is nice to the side of SANDBOX, but Griffin's still in control of this game, about 3,500 gold ahead.
And now Ghost and Joker trying to get this turret. And as well, I mean, you look at the itemization, soon they will be completing their second items. That is where their team composition spikes the most. That's where, if they're going to try to take fights against Griffin, it's going to be the greatest chance to do so. The problem, however, Griffin's a little bit ahead. And because they're ahead, they're moving on to their third item on some of their champions. And that can actually prove to be disastrous for that decisive team fight that would often be happening in a couple of minutes from now.
We'll see if they find an opening in this game to potentially take a good fight, even if they are down on gold. I'm sure with those item timings you're talking about, they may decide to go in onto a fight if it looks good, if it looks appetizing. We do have Mountain Drakes for both teams, so keep your eyes on the Baron and on some of the other objectives as this game moves along. We do also have a Cloud Drake next, so not a lot of Infernals in this series. Lots of Cloud Drakes, some Mountains.
Well, not too much able to happen anymore. Aatrox has hit the point where Sion not going to be able to really move him anymore. as the sustain is going to be too strong. And almost a 4K gold lead here for Griffin at the 22-minute mark. Blue being handed off into Chovy, and this is where I like to say that the game enters into a lull state. We're basically just going to have both teams bounce waves back and forth, not really accomplish anything, and it's because they really can't. They're waiting for item completions. There's no neutral objective on the map that realistically either team can try to attempt to take without it being a really big gamble. So everyone's just going to sort of clear out vision, be patient, red buff go over to Viper, Dragon going to spawn in a minute and a half. Nothing's going to happen until these items get completed unless someone makes a really big misstep.
That is certainly the case, as they are looking to find someone as Chovy as well. There you have it. One trouble bubble lands. OnFleek is going to block with the spell shield, but Chovy specifically, level 14, has that big ability to just get on in there with these walls at the red side jungle of the red team, throw trouble bubbles over them, and just be in general very annoying. And if you find the meaty part of the sandbox, you find that Victor, you're going to be very happy if there's no one there to protect him.
Oh, that was a really close call. It is Galio, though, so not the end of the world if he gets hit. He just turns on W. Fight would not break out. Chovy trying to do his best, and this is basically all that he can hope to do here on the Zoe. And we talked about this earlier. Zoe bubbles can completely change the dynamic of a game if one hits. It is the worst feeling in the world to get hit by one at like the 25, 30-minute mark. It's like impending doom. It's like watching a planet fall onto the earth or something.
Oh, no. Yeah, it definitely feels bad. We've all been there against a fed Zoe. Just remember the last time Chovy played Zoe. I think it was against Jinair or something as well, where he just like demolished them. He was something like 11-0. By the end of the game, he was having a fun time. Not quite the case this time around. He's not running away. He is just 1-1-1 on his KDA for this game. So, looking to get some more needlessly large rods, maybe a cool hat. Has the defensive arm guard as well, just for a bit of safety against all that AED in the top side of the map.
Well, here we're having the Cloud Drake be taken by Griffin, and we're going to take a look at what the next... Another Cloud Drake. Really unfortunate, but I guess SANDBOX given a chance to equalize that with a Cloud Drake of their own if they could get to it.
Yeah. And not much here. As you mentioned, the lull state is in full effect.
Not the lull state, Brendan. All right, Twitch chat probably likes that. No.
What do you call it?
It sounds very much like
the lull state.
Lull, yeah. Like the emote.
Okay.
Well,
here comes Sion, but
us.
Yeah, no trouble bubble is going to land, and Tarzan is desperately trying to get a fight to go. Righteous Glory does come in. They force the TP onto the side. Can they get enough CC? He is able to pop his ultimate. Going to the back line is the Nocturne, but not quite able to make anything happen. Tarzan is totally isolated. Went too deep. Viper nearly able to take out a couple of members. Both Joker and OnFleek are extremely low. Chovy trying to get on in there with some fake flashes, but not quite able to get anybody down on the side of SANDBOX, and everybody does get away with their life.
Yeah. Oh! Okay. Urgot is quite tanky. So at the end of that, they only end up losing Tarzan. They did lose some summoners, but SANDBOX definitely comes out ahead. They are going to pick up the red buff there of SANDBOX's, well, SANDBOX's red for Viper. Take a look at this. So, Sword just crashes into the Wraith wall right there. They're trying to force the agenda inside the red side jungle. And this can actually be seen as sort of like an emotional play in a sense where this doesn't need to happen. This fight isn't really necessary. They took it anyway. Tarzan gets lit up right there. Viper so close to being able to pick off Joker. And also, OnFleek almost went down himself. Not quite at the end there.
Airy ain't no thing. He's going to be fine. Gets away still only on the 1 death, and maintains his GA, most importantly, which means that he can continue to just go all in every single time. That's the combo with the Galio support that they do have. You can always go in without thinking too much about it, onto the squishiest champion, zone everybody away, especially if you know you have Galio behind you, and especially if you have your GA and you know that it will delay your eventual death, even in the case of a bad team fight.
Speaking of team fights, one probably is going to be brewing here in a couple of moments' time, although the dragons that have spawned, double cloud back-to-back, certainly not helping with the ability for both teams to basically just say, hey, we're not actually going to fight. No one's going to achieve anything. We're going to lock each other in to this 3K, 4K deficit or gap between us, but that's pretty much it. And as the game continues to go on, a gold gap of 3 or 4K at 35 minutes, it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I want to bring your attention to the top side near the Baron. The vision there from SANDBOX is stellar. They had a triangle of control wards towards the top lane even. And that one in the backside of the pit is a little bit too deep. They're going to bring Viper on the back and escort him so that he can get this down as Griffin looked to reclaim some of the vision. That was very nice from the side of SANDBOX.
Now at this point, Dragon up in a minute. Probably Griffin looked like they are the one in the driver's seat, likely going to be able to just pick that up immediately. Curious to see if they'll actually wait a little bit before consuming it to guarantee the force of an Elder spawn or not.
Well, we're still here with this fight that did happen the last time, but no other fight since then. You can see that the gold difference is slowly declining, but not really at too fast of a pace as it hangs around 3,000. No gigantic change overall as, oh yeah, Tarzan didn't get the redemption this game. Actually, it just went pretty standard in this one. Kind of interesting.
And for viewers that have been watching for the last 10 minutes, those are not typos at the top. This is indeed Griffin versus SANDBOX, not Gen G versus Jin Air.
Yes.
So, even though the game is not having anything happen, this is indeed the two undefeated teams in the league right now. Cloud Drake.
They're struggling.
So here's the interesting point. If you take the Cloud Drake immediately, it forces another Elemental Dragon to spawn. If you wait until 30 minutes, it causes the Elder to spawn. And it looks like neither team really going to get that option available to them. And so now we're guaranteed to get an Elder.
Okay, here comes Sword trying to land that big stun over the wall. Get that on top of Summit. He's really the target here, but Joker also getting low. And Summit in a lot of trouble here. Gets over the wall himself, does have a GA. They really want to get it. There it is. And now Sion can just do his thing. See you later, Aatrox. That's going to be 2 kills to the side of Griffin, as perhaps they make their way towards the Cloud Drake now after getting their nice little bounties.
I really hope that the Cloud Drake was worth it. That was definitely going to cost them the game if they lost that.
Yeah, you know, probably not good to funnel yourself in up against this kind of composition too. As, on Flake. Looks like maybe he was clearing out a ward, but now he does not have his flash.
They needed the MS. That was the most important part. They needed that movement speed that Drake was going to offer. Let's look at it again. So here we have SANDBOX, who are trying to stall the game, committing all their resources in to capture the 100 gold Cloud Drakes so that their champions that are permanently on the defensive can have some bonus movement speed. And here, Sword, you can see he sort of has a pseudo wraparound flank, and Tarzan able to just charge in there. Summit next to go, ends up losing his Guardian Angel to boot. And 10 minutes climax like that. SANDBOX were doing a very good job at turtling and stalling, and to see it thrown away over something as small as a Cloud Drake is really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you call it out because they were doing so well. And that wasn't worth it, 100%. They get themselves into an awful position. Unfortunately, this time kind of led on the charge by Summit in the front. I'm sure he felt unkillable on, GA Aatrox, right? But kind of sent his entire team into that one. Stun comes down. They may want to go into this fight. Viper forced to get away. The Paranoia does come in, but no engage here from OnFleek. Now he's going to get onto Viper into the back line. Does he have the damage? No. As his CA will eventually go down. Aatrox also doesn't have his health. Yeah. He's forced to get away from this one. OnFleek and Joker go down, and a couple more kills do go the way of Griffin. And wow, okay, here we go. We got some more fighting. The Abyssal Voyage coming on in. Zoe is unbelievably fast on the backside. They're just wrapping around, trying to get all the kills. As SANDBOX Gaming once again from behind try to force a fight. They're going to be punished for it this time around.
Yeah, in SANDBOX's team composition, I mean, had they taken this fight before the Clown Drake Fiesta, maybe they would have had a better chance. But like what we were talking about earlier, this team comp peaked at 2 items. Griffin isn't on even footing. They were really far ahead prior to this fight. And SANDBOX's team comp had to be ahead. So the fact that they were as far behind as they are, I mean, it doesn't spell good things for them. And I can't see a way that SANDBOX can recover in this game. Just take a look at this team fight. Sion right in the front. This is what you want. Lucian and Zoe able to play front to back. Sion and Olaf acting as basic peelers that are also simultaneously threatening the backline. Summit getting manhandled up in the top, and then even though Galio and friends try to go onto Viper, they don't have enough damage, and Victor can never actually reach the backline.
Yeah, it's just kind of a botched fight from there, as Griffin, in fact, in their composition, they do have many ways to get behind you and catch up to you, especially with the Cloud Drake. So once the dominoes started falling, you knew many, many more were coming. And it came out in 3 more kills, as well as a Baron to the side of Griffin. Now they're 9,000 gold ahead, and it doesn't look like much of a chance that SANDBOX can come back into this. They're going to need a miracle. We'll see if they can pull it off. As well, here we go, double TP.
They're all in.
As they're going on in, and OnFleek just disappears in the front line. See you later. Summit also, once again, getting manhandled. See you later, Dove as well. Desperation setting in full course. They're just going to wait until that ultimate does stick out for the Aatrox and eventually take him out. That's 4 more kills to the side of Griffin, as they should be taken down game number 3.
And as they approach the Nexus, only corpses are behind them, and a ghost.
Yes.
And the Nexus is teleporting.
He's CPing. He's like, no, get me out of here. Nope, let's get some more KDA for Toby. GG, guys, 2-1 to the side of Griffin. They remain undefeated in series, although